What's up, friends of the interwebs? Welcome back to the Jube Tube. This week we got a lot to go over. A few things are kind of small. I'm going to make them like honorable mentions, but some big things coming up. So let's not waste any time. Dive right in. First thing I want to talk about, because I think this is one of the coolest things I read this week, is that Shadow of War has basically made their executive producer who died immortal in the game. We have all, I'm sure, had someone taken from us too early from cancer. They unfortunately had that happen to them on their team. So what they did is they took him and made him a character in the game. Now, what I actually like even more than this, because I think that, that's a huge nod, and I love that they did that. But what I like even more than that is they actually make him like a downloadable character that you have to purchase, and then they give like $3.50 of every one of those purchases straight to his family. And that's the biggest thing. I think that that's amazing. Like I said, none of us are immune to this. We've all had this happen to someone, and the fact that the whole studio is just like, we love this guy. Not only are we going to put him in the game, but we're going to do everything we can to help his family out. I think that's awesome. Hats off to them. So this is pretty time sensitive. Round 2 is that Destiny 2 comes out on Wednesday. You already knew that. But you may have skimmed by and missed the fact that raids start on the 13th. I actually, admittedly, did not spend much time in Destiny 1. But I am going to pick up Destiny 2 because I've watched a lot of streamers, a lot of people that I follow playing this, and it just looks like a lot of fun. Not that Destiny 1 wasn't a lot of fun, but I think it was just bad timing for me picking it up and when I actually did play it. So this time I'm going to give it its time. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to do the story. I'm going to get, used to the controls, the guns, that whole system that I know nothing about. And then I'm going to hop in, and hopefully by the time the 13th comes around, I've been in enough to feel comfortable enough to hop in on these raids. So I'm pretty excited about it. All of you Destiny fans, I know you're excited about it, so I definitely want to put it on the report for this week. Next thing up is big for me as a God of War fan. I've mentioned God of War in previous videos that I've done. So if you don't like God of War, go ahead and skip this. Also, you're not a human because it's one of the greatest game series of all time. So I got my phone out because I don't want to screw these quotes up. It's from a Game Rant article that goes into these screenshots and everything like that. Basically, in a nutshell, we get a look at Midgard. And Midgard, for those who are unfamiliar with Norse mythology, is basically, as I take it, where the humans lie. And so there's Asgard, which we are probably all familiar with if you're a nerd because of Thor and other things, but this is Midgard, and they called it the Land of Mysteries. So I got excited because for those of you who subscribe to my channel or watch any of my videos, you know that I just got done playing Hellblade, and Hellblade takes place in Norse mythology as well, and you're going to Helheim, which is like the helm of the Norse mythology. Now, going off of that, there are things in this article that are very similar to Hellblade. So I don't know a lot about the Norse mythology, so I don't know if this is just something that is part of it, but they mention in here that there are talking runes that basically it's a mystic voice that teaches you about the realm or guides Kratos and his son. That's what happens in Hellblade, is you find these runes and your guide, Druth, tells you about the mythology of the world that you're in, because a lot of people are not very familiar with this. With the God of War, a lot of people know about the Greek mythology and a lot of people love it, but a very close second is the Norse mythology, but I'm very ignorant to it. So I'm excited that they're going to dive in to this, teach you about it, get you in. But again, Hellblade did the same thing, so I'm curious to see if it's something in Norse mythology that there's these speaking runes, or that's how they learn stuff. So that's that. The big thing is they provided art. They provided concept art or screenshots of the game or the art of the game, and that's what looks really good. So we see a rickety bridge with some moss and all this other stuff, and it really fits into the theme. We're seeing Kratos and his son, and they are by these massive structures. We're seeing all this stuff, and it's really, really cool. The other thing that we see that I'm not seeing here but is described is there is a screenshot or a concept art of some kind that shows Kratos holding his son back from enemies. And they mentioned in this article something that I'm very excited about, is that this is perhaps one of the chances that we as a character have to make a choice while playing the game. It's already been mentioned that we have to make these choices. We have to use our son to solve these puzzles. He can hear the voices, or he can understand the language of the Norse people. So he is a very big part of the game. So it sounds like you also have to make some decisions involving him potentially. So I'm very excited that they're adding this level of depth of Kratos being a father and not just being a merciless killing machine. Now, they did also mention that this is the most brutal in the series. And if you played God of War 3, you start off the game by smashing Poseidon's head on a rock until he's dead. Like, that's intense. So I'm excited to see what levels are going to take this to. They also mentioned the Land of Mysteries, but that it's Midgard. So again, Midgard I think is where the humans reside. So that's where we potentially spend a lot of our time. But again, after playing Hellblade, there was Valraven, which was the god of illusion. And we also have Loki, who is, god of mischief and stuff. So I'm very curious if we're going to go to different realms here. We went down to Hell and fought Hades and many other things. So I'm really excited to see if we're going to all these different realms. Are we going to go to Asgard? Are we going to go to Helheim? Are we going to go to wherever? Again, I don't know a lot. I just know of these kind of bits and pieces. So I'd like to see that, because Valraven, being the god of illusion, made the puzzles in that game very fun to play. And one aspect of God of War has always been the puzzles and kind of using the environment for that. So are we going to see these mysteries? Are we going to see these illusions? Are we going to see all of these other things? I'm very excited to see where this is going to take us. The last two things are pretty small. Again, these are my honorable mentions. One, Force Friday was yesterday. Pretty underwhelming for someone who doesn't collect these things. But one thing that I've always wanted is the Millennium Falcon Lego set. They announced a new one with 7,500 pieces for $800. So I still will never own one. But maybe you can if you have that kind of money to throw at blocks that you put together to make objects. Last thing is something that we're all worried about if you're a gamer and you like movies, because there's never really been a good movie made from a game. They're making a Metal Gear Solid movie, but it's by the director who did Kong Skull Island, which I enjoyed myself, and with interviews, it sounds like he's very much a fan of the series, so it sounds like he's going to stay true to the source material and everything like that. He's well versed in that topic, so I hope that he brings that to that movie and that it's successful, because it's a series everybody who's a gamer loves, so I hope they don't screw it up. The other thing is Ark Survival, the dinosaur game. I don't know much about it, but there is a series coming out with the graphics team from Game of Thrones. So they do dragons, dinosaurs, pretty much the same thing. That's all we really know as of now, is that it's probably going to happen. I don't know how excited I'm going to be about that, but hey, I'll be optimistic. Alright guys, that does it for this week. Those are my 3 big stories. Some little small ones in there. But let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Let me know if there's any stories that I missed and I'm an idiot, and there's stuff that you found and that you really liked. So put that down below. Any links, anything that I missed. As always, share this with the world. Like it, subscribe, all of that jazz. I appreciate you. And I'll see you guys again next time.